pick,
Oh my gosh. Wow.
negotiate,
800 bucks.
900.
850.
close.
Are we doing it? It's a deal.
All right, score.
Flying across the field feeling like that guy did in 1937.
They're the masters of the art of picking
That's the kind of stuff you dream about.
most of the time.
I'm gonna give you $600. Nope.
Hello everyone. Welcome to back my channel that I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It's time to stand up in today's American Pickers. In American Pickers Season 27, Episode 3, Mike Wolfe uncovers a late collector's emotional treasure trove, proving some picks are priceless. Mike and his picking partner, Jersey John Saleh, explore a collection left by Ron, a beloved 60s and 70s local radio DJ, uncovering not just vintage music gear but deeply personal items that tell Ron's story. Rather than making profit the priority, Mike makes a decision that reminds American Pickers fans why they continue to tune into the History Channel show with a heart. Danielle Colby sends Wolfe and Saleh to visit Chase, whose late father, Ron, has left behind a collection like no other. Chase and his mom take the Pickers inside a container full of Ron's old possessions, and Wolfe immediately starts eyeing things that he wants to get his hands on. But when Chase and his mom start telling Ron's life story, Wolfe can tell that it's hard for them to part with his prized possessions. Instead of rushing into a deal, the Picker really took the time to learn who Ron was and where he came from. The episode takes the audience and the Pickers through Ron's life as a radio DJ in the 60s and 70s. The late collector was part of an era where local radio played a huge role in shaping the music scene, and his memorabilia are proof of that. From cathedral radios to musical instruments and vintage advertising signs, Ron's collection was in pristine condition, which goes to show that he truly cared about preserving these items with love. Ron's widow went on to explain that the late collector hadn't grown up with much, which is why it was important for him to fill his space with the things he loved. Maybe Ron always intended for someone to find these items and know that they meant something to someone. While sifting through the collection, Wolfe found that Ron had left notes on everything to describe what it was and explain how it worked. This instantly helped the Picker understand who the collector really was as a person. One of the most fascinating items in the collection was a coin-operated horse with the original saddle that Chase and his children had grown up riding. Like a lot of other pieces in the container, this was a generational artifact that Ron had meant for his family to remember and enjoy for many years to come. In the past, Wolfe quickly sealed deals on nostalgic, mid-century items like pinball machines and vintage vending machines, his typical picks with strong resale value. Over the seasons, he's proven skilled at spotting hidden stories in seemingly ordinary objects, such as Civil War currency and a 1880s high-wheeler bicycle, combining history with profit. Considering all this, it was surprising when Wolfe's eyes landed on an item that would never actually be worth much in the market, given that it was a child-sized mannequin with missing arms. At first amused, Wolfe soon realized the doll wore Chase's old clothes and boots, which was a heartfelt tribute from a father preserving his son's childhood, priceless beyond value. While collectors often get reduced to hoarders or antique hunters, this heartfelt moment showed why Ron had such a massive collection. It was his way of holding on to his invaluable memories, and who better to appreciate that than Wolfe? The Picker bought the mannequin not because it was rare or worth a lot of money, but because he was moved by the story behind it. This purchase might not make for a great resale, but it was Wolfe's way of adding yet another piece of someone's history and heart to his collection. It goes to show that to the experienced Picker, the sellers he meets are just as important to his process as the items themselves. American Pickers Season 27 kicked off July 2nd, setting a strong tone for the rest of the season. The series, which originally followed Mike Wolfe and Frank Fritz as they traveled across the country to find hidden treasures, struggled after Fritz's unfortunate death in 2024. The American Pickers Season 26 premiere saw a sharp decline in ratings, and as the show progressed, the numbers only seemed to decrease. Thankfully, the Season 26 finale gave the fans a glimmer of hope and ended things on a hopeful note after pulling 760,000 viewers. This shift has carried over to the show's latest season, which has returned with fresh energy and really honed in on what made the fans fall in love with American Pickers in the first place: the thrill of the hunt. The episode began with Danielle Colby telling Wolfe and John Jersey Saleh about an incredible lead she has for them. The minute Wolfe sees the collection, he knows that this is way more than just another business deal. Wolfe and Jersey meet Wally, who's trying to find new owners for his late brother, Ron's massive collection of antiques that reflects decades of history and passion. Wolfe, obviously, instantly finds himself gravitating towards a bunch of items, especially when he sets foot in Ron's bike room. From Cushman scooters to rare motorcycle parts. Longtime fans of American Pickers already know how big of a motorcycle enthusiast Wolfe is. However, more than the vehicles, he finds himself fascinated by the story behind them. Turns out that Ron actually grew up during a time when the motorcycle industry was booming in America. Hearing all this, Mike was practically buzzing with excitement as he tried to imagine how Ron must have built his huge collection piece by piece. One can tell that the picker is nearly overwhelmed as Wally takes him and Jersey through the massive space. This infectious energy was a throwback to the show's earlier seasons, where Wolfe and Fritz would spend hours sifting through people's yard sales and basements, fueled by their shared passion. Wolfe doesn't see Ron's prized possessions as items to be flipped for profit. If there's anyone who can admire Ron for the dedicated collector that he was, it's Wolfe, and he proves that by not haggling much. The fact that Wolfe is more than willing to pay the asking price for all these bikes, tether cars, and other vintage machines is a reminder of his commitment to honoring the collector's legacy. Passing Ron's treasures onto someone who will treat them with the same love and care is the perfect closure for Wally. The season 27 premiere also goes to show that American Pickers has never been a show centered around buying and selling antiques. There's no denying that shows like Hardcore Pawn or Bargain Hunt have proven that the retail part of it all is also pretty entertaining. However, Wolfe is a different kind of collector. To him, stumbling upon a diamond in the rough is where the real magic happens. American Pickers doesn't rely on the usual reality TV formula of instant gratification. The season 27 premiere, however, strikes the perfect balance while also showing the two very real sides of antique hunting. Ron's collection is curated and organized. Although he takes his sweet time to go through each item with meticulous care and attention to detail, Wolfe immediately knows what he wants to take away from this place. On the other hand, the second location in the episode is a decades-old drive-in theater that's been restored by its new owners, Seth and Tabitha. Now, this is where the hunt kicks in. Seth leads Mike into a storage area that was used as a car museum by the original owner. However, over the years, it had turned into a chaotic mess with the most random items thrown in every corner. However, this is exactly what made the process so rewarding for Wolfe and the viewers. As the picker rolled up his sleeve and dove into the clutter, he started to find untouched valuables, including wiring harnesses in their original boxes and a vintage popcorn sign. Compared to Ron's collection, these items weren't worth much, but they were remnants of a bygone era. It also goes to show that after years of experience, Wolfe has mastered the art of picking in these kinds of locations, where every part of the hunt is messy and unpredictable. All in all, the premiere packed a punch and moved at the perfect pace. This blend of quick deals and intentional searches is the perfect strategy for the show to appeal to all kinds of viewers. For over a decade, American Pickers has captivated audiences with its thrilling treasure hunts, uncovering hidden gems in barns, basements, and forgotten storage units. Hosts Mike Wolfe and Frank Fritz, and later, Robbie Wolfe, have built a legacy on the idea that one person's junk is another's priceless antique. But beyond the dollar signs, the show has repeatedly proven that some discoveries carry a value far beyond money, whether historical, sentimental, or cultural. One of the most powerful lessons from American Pickers is that certain antiques simply can't be given a price tag. Their worth lies in their stories, their craftsmanship, and their connection to the past. This article explores some of the most remarkable finds from the show that transcend monetary value, and why they remind us that true treasure isn't always about profit. 1. The unseen historical significance. Many of the items uncovered on American Pickers aren't just old, they're pieces of history. In one memorable episode, Mike and Frank stumbled upon a Civil War-era diary tucked away in an old trunk. The handwritten accounts inside weren't just valuable as a collectible, they provided a first-hand glimpse into a soldier's life during one of America's most defining conflicts. Similarly, the team once discovered an early 1900s Native American beaded jacket, a rare artifact representing indigenous craftsmanship and cultural heritage. While an appraiser could assign a market value, its true worth was in preserving a piece of history that might have otherwise been lost. Why it matters. Historical artifacts tell stories that books can't. Once gone, these items can never be replaced. Their preservation ensures future generations can learn from them. 2. Sentimental value. When an object holds a life story. Some of the most emotional moments on American Pickers come when an item isn't for sale at any price because of its personal significance. In one episode, an elderly woman showed Mike a rusted bicycle that had belonged to her late brother. Though it was in rough shape, she couldn't part with it because it held decades of memories. Another time, the hosts found a World War II veteran's uniform in near-perfect condition. The family explained that their father had worn it during the war but never spoke much about his service. The uniform wasn't just fabric and buttons, it was a symbol of sacrifice and silent bravery. Why it matters. Some objects are irreplaceable links to loved ones. Sentimental value often outweighs financial offers. Respecting an owner's attachment is part of the picking code. 3. The art of craftsmanship, when quality defies modern replication. Before mass production, many items were handmade with unparalleled skill. American Pickers has uncovered everything from hand-forged iron gates to hand-carved wooden toys, each a testament to a time when craftsmanship was an art form. One standout example was an early 20th century neon sign from a defunct mom-and-pop store. The glasswork and design were so intricate that no modern manufacturer could replicate it without significant cost. Even if the sign sold for a few $1,000s, its artistic value was immeasurable. Why it matters. Older techniques often produced higher quality goods. Many antique items were made to last generations. Modern reproductions lack the soul of original craftsmanship. 4. The thrill of the hunt. The joy of discovery. For Mike, Frank, and Robbie, the excitement of American Pickers isn't just about making money, it's about the hunt itself. The adrenaline of uncovering something rare, the joy of meeting collectors with incredible stories, and the satisfaction of rescuing forgotten relics are all part of the experience. In one episode, after digging through piles of junk, Mike found a near-mint 1930s Coca-Cola cooler buried under decades of dust. The owner had no idea it was there, and Mike's genuine excitement wasn't just about resale value. It was about saving a piece of Americana. Why it matters. The journey is often as rewarding as the sale. Preserving history is a passion, not just a business. Every discovery is a chance to learn something new. 5. When owners refuse to sell, and why that's okay. Not every negotiation on American Pickers ends with a sale, and that's part of what makes the show authentic. Some collectors refuse to part with items, not because the price isn't right, but because they simply can't let go. One man had a 1920s motorcycle that hadn't run in 50 years. Mike offered a fair price, but the owner declined, explaining that he still dreamed of restoring it one day. While Mike was disappointed, he respected the decision, because some dreams are worth more than cash. Why it matters. Not everything has to be about money. Some items represent unfulfilled dreams or future projects. Respecting an owner's attachment is key to the picking ethos. Conclusion. The true value of picking. American Pickers has never been just about flipping antiques for profit. The show's most powerful moments remind us that some treasures are priceless, whether because of their historical weight, emotional ties, or unmatched craftsmanship. In a world where everything seems to have a price tag, American Pickers shows that the best finds are the ones that make us pause and appreciate the stories behind the objects. And that's something money can't buy.